Debt is everywhere, from credit cards to personal loans to student loans and mortgages. It almost seems like everyone is under the weight of it all. But what is the cause for this debt crisis? Is it the overconsumption, the allure of keeping up with materialistic things, or is it the ever-rising cost of living crisis that makes everything unaffordable? We are going to explore that in this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. It is very lovely to have you here. My channel is all about social commentary, motivational and educational content. So if this is the type of content you like, feel free to subscribe down below and also giving me your thoughts on this video. Without further ado, let's get into this topic. A lot of people are blaming overconsumption and people's spending habit for the debt crisis. We know that social media, for example, we see TikTok hauls, we see Instagram ads, Facebook ads, and this leads to our bad spending habits. We are very bombarded because the algorithm knows us so well with things that we don't necessarily need, but because as humans we're so impulsive, we buy things, we put things on our credit cards that we don't necessarily need. Data has actually shown that in 2023, an average UK household had £2,000 of debt on their credit card. And a year before that, Barclays also came out to say that 40% of purchases were impulse buy purchases from consumers. And when I look at this, it is so easy now, especially on TikTok Shop, to just buy stuff impulsively without thinking about it. It's not like previously where you would go to a shopping mall or you would choose a specific day you went to go shopping, because of the access, how accessible it is to just go online on your phone, just buy things that you see your favorite influencers promote, things like that. It's so easy to just buy things that you don't need. And as a society, that's what we need to control in order to limit the debt crisis. Because as I'll talk about later on, the cost of living crisis doesn't give us the affordability to just do impulse buy. And me myself, I've been a victim of impulse buy, right? Like if my favorite gym outfit is there, like I really want to buy it. But what has been helping me, right, is just leaving stuff in my basket and giving myself 24 hours to see if I actually need it. And what I notice when I leave in my basket is that I actually don't need it anymore. And this has greatly helped me with like my impulsive spending habit. So despite me raising the issues of overconsumption, we cannot negate the fact that we are going through a cost of living crisis, especially here in the UK, and for my American viewers as well. I know you guys are going through the same thing. The cost of living crisis is making so many things unaffordable. For example, rent. I did a whole video about the rental crisis in the UK. I'll link it here. Even energy bills, food, the cost of food going up. And we comparing that to our wages, it not going as high as in demand with inflation and the cost of living crisis, makes things unaffordable, especially the average salary for, a family. You can't afford to live a very good quality of life with that amount, which means that people are having to take out personal loans. You're having to do things or take out debt or use credit cards that they might not have otherwise need to use if they were having a good salary or earning well, right? And although we can say, oh, people are overspending, people need to budget, we need to take a firm look at what are the prices of things currently. Why is it that people are unable to even have the basic necessities like heating?
I just don't want to do this anymore. It's so cold in here, as you can see. I'm wrapped up in a duvet. My son's got like 3 different layers on, just Try and stay warm because it's so cold in here.
Why are people shivering in their houses? Because they literally cannot afford to live, right? To have food in your stomach. Why are lines so long in the food banks of families, even nurses, having to go to food bank because they can't afford food? You know what I mean? And people having to resort to doing things and taking out personal loans that they might not have otherwise have to do just to survive. Do you know what I mean? And that is a deep conversation that I think we are starting to have but aren't really tackling, right? We aren't really talking about, right? Everyone, even myself, have been in debt, right? So there needs to be a plan, a way to help people come out of that. And if you have been in debt, I'll talk about, what I'm doing. Like I have business debt that I am like chopping away each month slowly. You know what I mean? And there needs to be a way to teach people about money management and ways to get help, or how to build a side hustle that won't put them in debt, or build like a main hustle, or add to their income, or to their 9 to 5 that will actually make them more money. Because the way to avoid this cost of living crisis and accruing debt is to increase income, cutting things out like coffees, or going out to eat, which is a great way to like cut down your spending habits, etc. is good to an extent, but we have to find a way to earn more money, or the government needs to, or your employer needs to increase your salary to a living quality of living standard salary. That's what I think they need to call it, not a national living wage salary like we do in the UK, or minimum living wage salary. We need to have a quality of life salary in the UK. That's what we need. I also want to throw in some statistics as well that I've written down here. So inflation has been the highest it's been in almost 40 decades. Like, inflation is currently so high, and the jobs trying to increase the salary to be in line with that inflation. As I can say, the rise in rents, if you look at my video, I'll insert it down below. There's some statistics on that you can see as well. And people are just drowning. They're drowning trying to survive, and it's so sad. We need to look at the predatory issues of lenders, especially those that do payday loans. The fact that you even need to get a credit card or personal loan in the first place, that you're not able to afford it. And banks and all these companies, they are predators. If you look at the more deeper side of things, they want a society where people are dependent on the banks, and you paying them interest. That's how they make their money, right? Is that interest. And if you're not careful, you're going to drown in it for the rest of your life, right? And people don't want to talk about this, but it's very serious. There needs to be a role, like all these payday loans. Times you don't even need credit card checks or in-depth credit card checks. They'll just give you the money. I know in America it's quite easy to get credit cards. It's not so much in the UK, but there are still companies that they are predators, right? And they don't care, like, if you don't have the money. But there are services for this that I'll link down below the description of this video, that you can contact if you're going through that. Lenders need to be looked at, and there needs to be some sort of strategy to stop this predatory behaviors of financial lenders towards vulnerable people. A lot of things that people shy away from is the predatory is the toll that having some sort of debt has on you, right? As someone who has business debt myself, it can take a toll on you. Like, you are kind of kept away up at night, or if you're receiving letters, right? Luckily, that hasn't been my portion, because I have gone through measures to negate that, and having like a payment plan, etc., with the lender. But if you're someone who hasn't had the education or is unable to pay, it can have a toll on you. It has ruined many people's life. Like, people have lost houses from being in debt. They have lost families. They have lost everything, right? So this is a serious issue that people need to take seriously and try and get help for. But it can take a huge mental toll. But the way to overcome this is, first, just being open, being saying, I'm struggling. You never know who else in your family or in your circle is struggling with debt. I know that can be a very shameful topic to talk about, but there's no shame in saying, oh, I need help. Like, this is what I'm going through. I'm being very proactive about it and resolving that debt that you have with a lender, right? Be open. And I think we need to remove this culture of shame around it, especially in a cost of living crisis where your neighbors or you might be going through exactly the same thing, but no one wants to talk about it. And we need to have that open conversation. First is about seeking, right? Being open, having that conversation, reaching out to helplines, like, for example, in the UK, the citizen services, or they are helplines out there that are linked down that can help you talk about debt and help you resolve the issue. So another thing that can help you overcome any debt crisis you might be facing is to have a plan, right? Have a solid plan, admit what you're facing, right? And create a budget, like what you're going to do, who you're going to contact, who can help you, what your finances are, can you increase your income, things like that. Just start with a plan. And it all starts with admitting, like, oh, I'm in a serious situation right now that I need to tackle, right? And, budgets, knowing where your money goes, first of all, would be a great start. Like, where does my money actually go? Like, for example, I downloaded this app, I believe it's Snoop, and it shows me where my money actually goes. And I know there are times I spend so much money on takeaway and going out that I need to reduce that spending, right? Let's all be honest with ourselves. We also need to, avoid that impulse buy as well and see alternative options. For example, if you go to M&S or a very pricey store, could you go somewhere that is more affordable, right? Can you reach out to your energy provider and say that you're struggling? If there's a way that they can help you with a payment plan, could you reach out to your lender and they could find a way of helping you? And start to, once you pay off your debt, start to try and build an emergency fund for yourself in case, there's emergency in the future. And of course, our system needs an overhaul to grow our wages as well. So we need to grow what people are currently earning. The national living wage is not enough for a lot of people to survive with families and kids. So we need to look at that and see what people can actually survive on. We need stricter regulations as well for lenders who are predators, and just not allowing people to even have the access to become victims of these lenders as well. But yeah, so that's the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next one. Bye.